Hello, mic check. Yes. Hello and good evening to Edukemy's YouTube channel. My name is Harsh Singh, and in this video we shall discuss the featured news for today, 30th of September 2021. The featured news for today is on intellectual property rights regime in India, and we will begin in 30 seconds from now. Amlan, thank you very much for your wishes. Sam, how to choose main keywords? How to choose the main keywords? Yeah, very important, very pertinent question. Now, most of the times when we discuss these articles, I ensure that those keywords are highlighted. So while in the video itself, either you can pause the video, you may be left a little behind, or just after the completion of the video, the complete video, 35 minutes video, 30-minute video, you can hold on yourself for 15-20 minutes with the video itself, take yourself back and look at the important keywords. They will be visible for you, right? So wherever there's a highlighting or wherever I have stressed myself, those could be important keywords, right? And see, there are certain important words that are forgetful. You do not remember all the time. And those are really important. Those are the ones that can be keywords. And there are words which you remember and they are important. You might not want to note them down, right? So this is how you can proceed. Many times I highlight them or circle them. This is one of the ways you can figure it out, right? And if you download the PDF, you will be able to read the whole newspaper, the whole newsletter, and the places which are highlighted, those could become keywords. A very simple example of this is C. Intellectual property legislations. Highlighted DPIIT. So Department of Promotion of Industry, right? The part of Commerce of Ministry, fostering innovations, public-private rights, some important keywords, right? So these are some hints you can use, but you might have to read if you're not looking at the video. But if you're a part of the video, then it becomes easier for you. All right. So let's begin the discussion. Now, today's discussion is on a very interesting topic. This topic is that of intellectual property rights regime in the country. See, we do own some or the other property sometimes, yes. So we have assets which are mobile or immobile. Mobile assets could be something that we can move from one place to another. So if this pen is mine, I can move it from one place to another. This is a mobile asset. Immobile asset, my lands, right? So that is land, that my home is an immobile asset. So these are the physical assets that we have. But do we have intellectual assets also? Do we own intellectual property? Yes, we do. Intellectual property are those property in which critical thinking is required. Our intellect is required, right? So one develops this kind of property through analysis, through careful understanding, through innovation. So what are we talking of? Music. We are talking of creative works like writing a book. We are talking of trade secrets. So people who are Sanjeev Kapoor, he is a cook, chef. So he has got his own trade secret. The Golgappa wala in the streets, everybody has their own secret. Their whole masala ingredient is very different for each of them, right? So somebody might use the rainwater, somebody might use the water from minerals, right? The proper water, distillery water. So everybody has got their own trade secret, and this is what is their intellectual property, right? So India has got a regime for intellectual property right now, but it needs important amendments. And that is why the Parliamentary Standing Committee, we are talking of DRSC, Departmentally Related Parliamentary Committee, has given its recommendation. First of all, it has given an analysis of the present regimen of intellectual property, and it has given some recommendations of what should be done. But we will not get into that immediately. We will understand some basic things about intellectual property. What is process patent? What is product patent? What are different type of intellectual properties? And after that, we will quickly go through the issues that are involved in our country, right? So let us quickly look at this. Now, what is intellectual property? Something that is to do with intellect, something that cannot be stolen from the person provided there is a regime, right? So we are talking of trademarks. We are talking of patents, and we are talking of copyrights. So these are three different things. Trademarks are those particular entities, symbols, which differentiate one trade with the other. So McDonald's sign, M, right? And then similarly, this differentiates from Maruti sign because M is Maruti is different. So these two signs are different. This is trademark. You can see many other trademarks: Coca-Cola, Vodafone, Levi's, John Deere, tractor making company, Ford. They all have different trademarks. This separates the business of one entity from the other. And that is why other person cannot copy or emulate on the name of the popular company. So this is a trademark, right? What is a patent? If I have done some innovative work, some scientific innovation, I can get that registered as a patent in a particular country. So patent is country specific, and nobody has got the right to copy this, right? So this is a patent. What is a copyright? If I am an artist, if I have produced an artistic work, I have produced music, or I have produced some literary work, right? So I can have a copyright. So copyright is written like this: book name and then C. That means this name has been copyrighted. The production of the whole particular entity is copyrighted, right? So these are the ways in which one can have the intellectual property registered to themselves. There is something called as GERD. Anybody knows what is that? GERD stands for gross expenditure on research and development. Now, this has got a huge relation with the intellectual property of any particular country. You know why? Very simple. Because if we want to have an intellectual development in a country, we need to provide investment in that field. Alas, India has got only 0.7% of the GDP investment in research and development. And in comparison to a country like South Korea, in comparison to a country like Israel, these countries have got well above 4%, 4.5%, South Korea and Israel. And then we have Japan and Germany nearing 3% plus, and so is USA. And then we have countries like France, UK, all these countries have around 2% plus of GERD. We are talking of gross expenditure in research and development. Now, this is a keyword. This is a keyword, GERD. Right? So do note down whatever the parameters I have said. These are from World Bank, right? So if we do not provide enough capacity building, that means in the form of expenditure, we do not have those kind of intellectual capacities in the country. You can see this very well in the examples of the scientists in India. How much are they paid? And compare this with the managers in the country. How much are they paid? There is a huge difference in their pay, and scientists to the negative, right? So this is one good example of it, the amount of investment. Look at the other aspects. Technology innovations. Now, there is an increased need for having a regimen, a good regimen for intellectual property. You know why? Because these are the times when there is disruption in technology. Disruption does not mean holding on. It also means, in the larger context, moving beyond. So disruptive technology, artificial intelligence. So this is one important technology where parliamentary, departmentally related standing committee has also said that this is one upcoming technology. Artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, industrial Internet of Things, cloud computing. So these are the places where we need more intellectual property protection. So this is what the standing committee has also said. And we see during these times when education is getting online, we are able to interact online, you are at homes, right? In times to come, it has already come, when test series also will be designed in a way that UPSC test series, that the machine will gauge the level of your intelligence with few questions, and then it will be able to give you answers to those questions, right? Basis of what you know. So technology innovations require more intellectual property rights, right? Again, rising thefts during these times. So a lot of people are stealing these kind of intellectual property. Now, I can give you a very small example of stealing. Now, we have this haldi, turmeric production in India, and we do have certain registered turmeric. For example, kandamal turmeric, right? So because of presence of certain ingredients, their healing property, it increases. This is also GI tagged in Odisha. But what people from USA or developed countries like Europe, they are doing is, they come to India and they understand what is this technique of healing, what is this innovative technique of healing, they take it to their country and then they develop a patent out of it. What is this? Is this not stealing of our intellectual property? The intellectual property that belong to Indians? Yes, it is a very good example of it, right? Similarly, a number of medications, healing system of India, they have been taken abroad and they have been taken as patents, their patents. So this is where the sharing of benefits, excess of benefit sharing should be done with the people who own the intellectual property. And this is the need, why we need securing intellectual property. Also mentioned in the parliamentary committee report. Now, the report also says that only 1% of increase of intellectual property protection, and we will have as much as 3 to 4% increase in FDI in India. You know why? Because as we start to protect intellectual property, foreigners will understand that this particular protection will lead to increased value, increased wealth creation. if we protect intellectual property in India, there'll be more investment, because with that investment, they'll be able to lead the market, right? So if, just taking the example of the Kandamal turmeric, Kandamal haldi, so if we have intellectual property protection in India, India will register this product not only in India, but abroad as well. And this way, this company, Indian company, will be able to reap harvests. So this is a good example. There's something called as evergreening of patents. You know what is that? Evergreening of patents. Okay, before that, we must understand what is the meaning of process and product-based patent. Now, for example, if I'm creating tea, right, making tea. So tea has ingredients like sugar, and then we provide milk, and then we provide tea leaves and water, and then tea is made, right? So particular amount of heat is given, left over, and then we make tea. This is one of the process of making tea. There are other people who might use not sugar, but jaggery to make tea. And there may be other people who may not use even jaggery. They might make tea with the help of honey. So they have created the same product that is called as tea, but the ingredients were different. So there is something called as product patent. Tea has been patented, whatever product you use. And there is something called as process patent. That means if you change the process a little but create the same product, the process will be patented. So sugar-based tea creation will be patented differently, and then jaggery-based tea creation will be a different product. So you understand now the difference? So this is how the regimen is there. Now, India earlier had a process-based patent. You change the process a little and you can tweak it and you can have a new patent. And now India has, since 2005, India has a product-based patent. So in case you have a patent, nobody else will be able to create that product for at least 20 years. But after 20 years, what happens? After 20 years, that company gets a chance, in case it produces a product which is different and which is more advanced than this product, they can be given the patent again. So this is, and sometimes this is called as evergreening of patent. That means nobody else is able to create a product out of that product. One simple example is tea. So suppose India, a company X has got a product patent on tea. After 20 years, they say that we will create another. After 20 years, this product patent will get demolished. So everybody can make tea. But they come up again and say that we have added value to this tea and this becomes a tastier tea, T1. Right, T1 is the new tea, and this is another product patent. So this is evergreen for them. Nobody will be able to create tea for another 20 years. So this is another this is another evergreening of patents. But if the value generated is less, then this should not be a patent, and that is why evergreening of patent should be avoided, so that market gets some time, some value, right? Though this is why there are products like pharmacy products, right? So pharmacy products are very important for a country like India. You know why? Because there's something called essential drugs, essential medicines. And if a commodity is included in essential medicine, that means it must be made available to the general public, the general masses, right? They cannot afford expensive medicines. And after they have been made available under the essential drugs, everybody can produce that drug, right? Every important company can produce that drug. It will no more be patent product for that one company. So that is what is required. The Parliamentary Committee report also says that GI tags have started to reduce, and this is not a good thing. GI tags are tags given to geographical areas for specific products. So for specific products or specific natural benefits of that place. Kandamal, right? Turmeric is a good example. Then I keep giving the example of the Fulkari chunni of Punjab. And we do have innumerable patents like that. We have Agra ke pethe. These are all patented products. These are some examples. Now, getting back to the article in news, we have just spoken of what is intellectual property, right? We understood what is intellect and property, right? It relates to various product patents like the copyright, like different regiments like trademark signs, like trade secrets, right? So these are the intellectual property. Now, if you look at the PDF, we have explained to you what were the gaps in IPR regime in India and what are the recommendations made. And I have discussed the important ones already with you. So the contribution of IPR in economy, I said, see, 1% of contribution in IPR regimen, 1% of improvement can increase in FDI by as much as 3%, right? So this is important. Right. Moving ahead, India is one of the countries which has a good amount of research publications. You know that India is third in the whole world in production of research publications after USA and after China. So China and USA, and then it is India. So we do have research publications, but are we converting them to patents? Research converted into some viable alternative for development, for research and product specific patent. We don't have that. That is what is required. What do we need? We need to act on the piracies. So people who are stealing the patents, we have to act against them. And that is where artificial intelligence, see, I explained that point. Artificial intelligence based patents is the need of the hour in our country. And what do we need? We need IP financing. So these are the kind of keywords you have to be writing, right? Intellectual property financing is required in the country, right? And for that, we need to have a stronger regimen for intellectual property protection, so that intellectual property is not stolen in the country, right? We also need protection against evergreening. I explained to you in 2 minutes what was evergreening. So we need protection against a company which is trying to make its patent evergreen. Now, what regimen does India have for patent protection? Can you tell me, is it product or is it process based? You have to write that down here, right? Tell me. Write down in the chat section, right? Okay, and the next is geographical indicators. It says that we need more of this. We are falling short now these days, and we need more of this. If we have more of this, you will have more questions in UPSC exam. All right, trade secrets. Now these are the kind of trade secrets. I gave the example Sanjeev Kapoor, and that is what is required in the country to have better trade secrets and to protect them, right? So IPRs in pharmaceuticals. So in pharmaceutical industry, we need those kind of drugs which are essential and are required. And that is why sometimes it is said that this essential drug, this provision is decreasing the amount of investment in pharmacy in India, right? This is one contention. The other one is that of the spurious drugs. Yes, spurious drugs. That means those fake drugs. So these are the kind of drugs that have to be removed from the market, right? Now, intellectual property is just like another property. It needs protection. It needs a fair and equitable growth. It also needs distribution among the various stakeholders, right? And that is why government must consider that intellectual property be saved by that particular person, right? And in this context, you take 30 seconds to remember whatever we discussed. You can pause the video after this is over. Take 30 seconds to remember whatever we discussed. What is IPR, intellectual property regime, and how is it protected? What are the various ways in which protection is done? So copyright, trademarks, right? Trade secrets, those are the ways. And after that, you can think about the various aspects in the contemporary time. Just brainstorm about it. And after that, try to attempt this question. The question says, oh, yes, before that, these are all protected under GATT and WTO, World Trade Organizations, TRIPS. What is TRIPS? So this is an agreement on trade related to intellectual property rights. This is how it is covered, right? So all the countries around the world, they are participants of TRIPS and they protect each other's intellectual property. The question based for today is, discuss the various gaps in the IPR regime of India. What are the steps to ameliorate these gaps or issues, right? So think about it. This is not the complete information. Yes, parliamentary report is very comprehensive, but there may be some points in your mind. Put them in your mind, try to sequence them and at least write the keywords that you will be utilizing in the answer. This way, one topic gets over and you will also be able to initiate a process, a logical thinking process in your mind. This will be your intellectual property. And yes, process-based patent. Yes, earlier India had process-based patent and now we have a product-based patent since 2005. Right? Earlier we had a process-based patent, and now we have a product-based. So earlier, the process was important. How are we creating tea? But now, what is important is that somebody is creating tea and it has been patented completely altogether, right? So this is the conclusion of the feature discussion for today. And today is Thursday. We will meet again on Friday, tomorrow, and 5:30 p.m. sharp for the discussion of the Gazette magazine, and 6:30 p.m. for the featured news. All I am demanding for you from you is 1.5 hours of current affairs every day evening. If you want to participate, do share some articles that you want to be discussed, right? So thanks for watching, and if you like this effort, do share some love on us through likes, comments and shares. If you subscribe to the channel, you will receive timely updates. Thank you, all the live viewers. Thank you for watching.